Hello, everyone. My name is Jess Buck, and I'm a little sniffly this morning. I sound more like a man than usual. But I felt led to make this particular vlog, so I'm kind of going to go through it rather quickly and be short and sweet to the point. For those of you that don't know, my name is Jess Buck. I'm a third grade science and social studies teacher at Flipville School. And I love my job. I love working with kids. I tell them that I'm living my dream because I'm doing something I love to do. And I have a lot of because I enjoy my job and what I do. I like to think of myself as a positive energy, or I strive to be a very positive person in my environment, and just to kind of spread the happiness and whatnot. And I feel like if you know Mrs. Buck, you know that she's a little unconventional and a little random but silly, and we have a good time. Good feelings are involved. Disorganization, but happiness. I always want, I want my kids to be happy. I want them to want to come to school, and I want my coworkers to be happy, and I just want this positive energy with my school. It's kind of like my goal. Well, um, I said I was led to make this video, and the thing that kind of sparked it was we have football games, and I had to work the gate, and I was working with a woman, and while I was working with her, she was telling me about a relative she had who had committed suicide and hung out with the wrong crowd, and suspected there might be some drugs involved, but very sad story she told me. And sometimes I feel, I don't know what all of you believe, but sometimes I feel that God does. I don't think anything is a coincidence. I think it happens for a reason. And I think that this happened for a reason. And I think I have a message to tell people about suicide regarding this. With this video, that's kind of, I have something I need to say. And she talked about how the relative didn't open up to anybody. They didn't tell anybody. Some suspected it was going to happen, but they'd never opened up, and they just let this kind of happen. And she was found one morning. And this kind of hit home to me because I, last April, was going, I'm going to try not to cry in this video, but a lot of people don't know, but I was suicidal last year, and it's hard for me to talk about. This is very private, but like I said, when God told me to tell this message, and I'm not in the habit of telling him no, but I was suicidal last year, and a lot of people didn't know because I didn't tell anybody, and it would have been I guess, kind of blind side to many people, because I was so depressed, and my depression had started in November of that school year. And between November and April, it got worse and worse and worse. And I just didn't let a lot of people in. Like, I didn't really let anybody know the full story of what was wrong with me or how bad I had gotten. And the first thing I just want to say is that depression isn't a joke. I used to think, just be happy. And people tell you, just be happy. And I tell people, just be happy, don't worry about it. And it's not that simple. Your mental health is it's very fragile at times. And I always thought, I was always proud of, I'm a happy go-getter. And it can get anybody. Like, you can just go inward, turn inward, and it's like your own thoughts are poison to your body, and it just feels like a sickness, and it hurts. It hurts, and it's not like a normal pain. Like, if I sprain my wrist or my ankle, I can wrap that. Those physical pains I can address, but it's hard to address something you can't see, something that's within you like that. And I was there. I was in this depression, and every day for work, I still wanted to be that positive, happy person, and I would just come in and I'd fake it. And I'd fake it every day. I'd put a mask on, is what it felt like, and I'd just show my happy face, and then I'd go home, and I'd cry the whole way home. Every time I was alone, I found myself crying, and just the pain inside of me that sometimes I really couldn't pinpoint where it was coming from, so I couldn't fix it. And then I just keep myself busy and keep going, happy face, and then it would just fall apart. and more things would happen and add on to the reasons why I was depressed, and just hating myself and how I was just so upset with who I was, and I didn't like to look at myself in the mirror, and I really hated myself so much that I wanted to take it all away. I wanted the pain to stop. And the only way that eventually made sense was that I had to kill myself to make it stop. I just didn't want to feel it anymore. I didn't want to be this burden on anybody. I didn't want to just be depressed and mopey all the time. And that was one of my problems, was I felt like a burden, and that's why I didn't open up. Until one day something had happened, and it kind of was that trigger. And I knew how I was going to do it. When I drive to work, I'm on the straightaway for a long time, and there's one point where you cross the Tennessee border. There's this little bridge, and after this bridge there's a tree line, and there's 3 like big trees that are rather close to the road. And there was one day I was going to drive as fast as I could get up in my car and take off my seatbelt and crash into one of those trees. It's like 4 or 5 feet off the road. Hit it as fast as I could and hope I didn't live through it. And that was my plan. And I don't really think if it was a good plan or not, but when you're desperate and depressed, a lot of things make sense, or you reason a lot of things. And the day that I was going to do it, I remember I was driving, and I was definitely speeding, and I was getting up there and just crying in tears, and I tried to call someone, but the phone didn't work, and it was just a bad zone. It's a dead zone, and I was gonna do it, and I was thinking about things, why I was doing it and all this, and in my visor of my car, I always put a picture of my current class, and the visor was down because it was bright outside, and I happened to glance up and I saw the picture of my class, and then it had dawned on me that if I do this, that someone's gonna have to go in to my classroom Monday morning and tell my students, who are really my whole world, I love teaching, I love them so much, they would have to tell them that their teacher was gone. And I don't know, something about that, I hate to say it, it wasn't thinking of my family and that, and taking myself from them. It was really my students. I just thought, I can't do that. I can't do that to them. They mean too much to me, and they look up to me so much, and I just want to help them, and I can't do it. So I didn't. I sped past that area, and I tried calling someone again, and by the grace of God, someone had answered, and I finally opened up to someone, and I started to tell them, and it was a lot of crying and a lot of emotions, but the point is that I came very close to taking my own life, and luckily I saw at that last moment, I don't say luckily, I think it was God. You can believe what you want, but I know it was God. Showed me what to live for, and I had that moment, and someone answered and started talking to me, and I started to, I was very far from fixed, obviously, but I started to talk about it, and I opened up to some people, and I took the mask off, and I just let the raw emotion be out, like just the horrid feelings inside of me. And I told my husband, and I got help. I looked for counseling and talked to people, and it was definitely an uphill struggle. And there was another point that I'm just like, no, I can't do this. But luckily I had safeguards in place that helped me stop. And so my message is this, that those feelings, you just wanted all to stop, that pain, I know that pain's real. I felt that pain, and I've looked in the mirror and hated what I've seen. And that feeling of, I just can't do it, and I don't want to burden people with my problems. and no one cares anyway. Those are real feelings you have. But I'm here to tell you that you can't. You can't keep it bottled up. It just festers and it gets worse and worse. And you need to tell someone. You have to tell someone. Tell anybody who will listen how you feel, and they won't think you're a burden. And I just believe that God is going to have that person come along that you can tell, and you need to tell them and open up. And I don't know who this message is for, but I know exactly how you feel, and you need to tell someone and talk about it. Don't put on a mask. Don't take like, I look at my new class this year and I was like, I already get like, oh, you're our favorite teacher and I like school kind of thing, and you know, it feels good, but I just can't. It almost didn't happen because I bottled them. But there will be someone who will listen, and you need to get counseling. It's important, and it does help. It's not a sham. Like, you need that help, and you need someone to listen to you. And that's just all I really have to say. And I know I was rambling. It was kind of all over the place, but God just told me I had to tell someone. You can tell me. I know a lot of how you feel. But your mental health is real. You have to take care of yourself, body, spirit, and mind. If one of those things is broken, it can easily spread to the others. So please don't hurt yourself. Talk to someone. Talk to someone, because it's worth living. Your life is worth living. My students saved me. All this time I thought I was supposed to save them, and they saved me. And there's something for you that is worth living for, and there's people who love you who you can't do that to. You just can't. And it's hard. It's really hard. And the pain doesn't go away immediately. And it never fully heals. There are scars. And sometimes they kind of rupture open. But you could handle it. You just gotta get help. And that's all I really want to say. So, I love you guys, and I'll be making more vlogs in the future.